Well, talk to us a little bit more about fear, because I know that's a very controlling emotion in people's lives. What all have you learned about that emotion, and what can you say to our people?
The bottom line is, and I from the New Testament, Jesus said over and over and over, fear not, fear not, fear not. And if you look at the context in which he said it, in every single situation, there was something to fear. Okay, Jesus, our boat is about to sink.
Right.
Okay, I'm not making this up. There's a real storm, and there's real water, and there's real wind,
Yeah.
and Jesus says, fear not. It's like, okay, why? It's because Jesus, and I think this is what the whole Sermon on the Mount is about, Jesus said, I want you to live as if God is really in control,
yeah.
and God will do everything he's promised to do. And when you come to grips with the fact that God really is in control and really will do everything God has promised, then there really isn't anything to actually be afraid of. And certainly there are real storms, but if God is really in control, then there is no need to fear. That's if we can get there as Christians, it's the most powerful place to be. And I think all of us, and those of you, those in your audience, when you meet someone who is genuinely fearless based on their faith in God, they're some of the most powerful, secure people you will ever meet. They're not detached from reality. They don't say, there is no storm, there is no storm. They're able to look at the reality of sickness, the reality of a storm in life, and say, there's a real storm. But I'm not afraid, because I live every day confident that God is with me and that God will do what he's promised to do.
Well, and there's a little bit more to that, too, because I think sometimes it's not that we doubt that God is powerful or that he can do what needs to be done, but then we wonder, well, will he really do it for me?
Right.
And so the whole issue of, does God really love me? Am I really valuable to him? Really, when it gets right down to it, we all want to know that we're loved.
Yep.
We want to know that we have value. We want to know that that we have a specialness, that there's a purpose for us. And when we don't have that, then all these fears come in. I actually started reading a book this morning that I've read many times in the past. It's a big book on love. And the author started out by saying that like 79% of all people are motivated by fear. And only like the 21% that's left are motivated by love. And it all goes back to, if we don't, fear not. Only reason the Bible ever gives for not fearing is, for I am with you.
Yeah, that's it.
Fear not, for I am with you. So the untold message there is, and I love you. And so if I love you, then I'm always going to take care of you. I'm always going to do what needs to be done. I have the power to do it, the knowledge to do it, the ability to do it. And you can't doubt that I will do it for you. I have a saying that I like to say, if God can do anything for anybody, he can do it for me.
Yeah. Well, if you think about this, Jesus, who died for us to prove that he loves us, is the very one who said in the midst of those storms, fear not. And if you have any doubt that I love you, if you have any doubt about God's love for you, in just a few months, a few weeks, in a year, I'm going to settle that at the cross once and for all. So at the end of the day, God's love for me, God's love for you, God's love for the world is settled at the cross. And if I can just bring the cross into the midst of my storms and hear Jesus say, fear not, then there is a way to get through that, even though fear is the most, I think, powerful of all the emotions.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's like, I call it the master spirit that the enemy uses to try to control us. And through that fear, I mean, guilt is really... As a result of fear.
I'm afraid of what's going to happen.
I'm afraid God's mad at me. I'm afraid that, I'm not what I need to be. I'm afraid I can't be forgiven. So you're right. It all does go back to fear.